guys, Jacob here. This is a little bit different from the normal uploads I do in like the build videos or the gameplay videos, but this is going to be a follow-up video what I think are the best gear sets to run at 1.8.3 now that it's out, and we know what are the best gear sets, and we know what they did to Striker, and we know how they balanced it, we know how they freaking kind of messed it up just a tiny bit. I still think they could have done a little bit better job, like for example, the healing was okay on it. The healing now is okay on it, which doesn't bother me, but the stack wise, I think if they would just left it 2 stacks and fix the shotgun problem, then I don't think people will be using shotguns, and it still do a lot of damage and it work against NOMAD and Pred. But on the list, as you guys probably know, is going to have to be Classified Predator. And you guys are probably wondering, why Classified Predator? Well, as much as I don't like Pred, I hate to say it's probably one of the cheesiest builds in the game since you only need 10 bullets, but everyone's using it now. It's literally everywhere. This is like, it's like Striker. Pred was still being used, but now that Striker's not really being used at all, you just see it everywhere. And yes, I've used Predator before. It's probably not the main build I use, but it's fun to use now and then. But if you want something easy and you want to kill people just by the bleed, hit 10 bullets on them, and then boom, you kill them. Personally, I think Pred could be tweaked a little bit more, not mostly because of the bleed, more of like, say you have to hit 10 bullets, if they could just make it where if you miss a shot it resets or something, or just something really simple that solved the problem, or just, you know, maybe fix the bleed if they absolutely have to. But I don't really have a lot of problems as a build. Some people say they do, but my weakness is defense. So that's just me. That's the build I've always hated, and people say, oh, you hate because of 1.8.3. No, I've hated that build since forever because I've had bad experiences with shields. But that's just me. Next up on the list is going to be hybrids. Yeah, hybrids are back now in 1.8.3. You guys can use some ninja bag combinations and make some really badass combinations with the build, like Strike She, Pred She, Alpha Strike. All these builds you guys can combine together to make really cool gear sets and have some diversity in the game. Or you can make, you know, a Final Crest, which is, you know, Final Measure and Fire Crest. You guys can make that, and that's pretty cool. But it's nice to see some diversity in this game for once. And now lately, I've seen a lot more than that. I've seen Lone Star, Final Measure, Deadeye, ALPHABRIDGE. All these builds that I've seen, or I haven't seen in a long time. I've seen them in 1.8.2, but it was constantly Striker. Always teams of Striker. And before they nerfed Striker, it was constant teams of NOMAD, and that's just kind of how it was, and I kind of just accepted it. Next build I'm going to talk on this list is Classified ALPHABRIDGE. Yeah, ALPHABRIDGE is probably my favorite gear set at 1.8.3 at the moment, since I've had a lot of fun, as you guys will see the gameplay on here. I really like using this combination with the ninja bags. This has a lot of stability and has a lot of damage on it, as you guys can see. It's not crazy like Classified Striker was, but it does put out a lot of damage in skirmish and last stand, and it draws people if you get ranged on them and get your shots on. But that's just ALPHABRIDGE. I think it's probably one of the better builds to use in 1.8.3. The main one I'm going to list now is NOMAD. I think NOMAD is probably #1 because everyone's using it, and you could run 5-piece and have a lot of damage and also have that 1 proc. But if you're by yourself, this is probably the best build to use if you're solo. And I have nothing against NOMAD. One thing I do have something against are people who go into groups of 4 and they back out in a server, and all 4 of them have individual procs. That is one thing that kind of pisses me off just a little bit, and it's unavoidable. It's there. You have to deal with it, you know. But it's annoying that people do that because they just want to have the procs. Personally, I think if you're in a group and you have 1 proc, I think that's enough. But I think they should have fixed it where the procs do more, like say, when you were by yourself back when they first released it, the procs did pop. When you're in a group, I think they should have kept that in PvE, because some people have trouble completing those flawless missions, and they relied on those procs to be able to save them. And now that they don't have that, it kind of sucks. But I have nothing against NOMAD. I think it's probably one of the best gear sets to use in 1.8.3. That's the only thing, like I said, about the multi-group or the grouping where you guys leave and stuff. That's the only thing I have against this build. I really like using this build. I try not to because I like using, you know, this is a little bit different. I like using Lone Star, and I like using Banshee. Even if I'm Rogue, I'll use Banshee. That's just kind of how I am. I like to build when I'm Rogue and not Rogue, but that's just how it is. Some builds will be used in more than others. There will be metas. It's unavoidable in Division. You kind of just have to accept it, but that's what I think about NOMAD. I think it's probably one of the best builds used for survivability and damage if you want to survive that long and be able to kill people and survive. Next on the list, I do not have any gameplay. This is my buddy Sniffendor Gaming, who's using D3. This is the clip he sent me. I'm using. I don't have a D3, and I don't want to use D3 mostly because I don't really like D3. It's the only build I never really got into in Division, mostly because I don't really like shields. That's just me. They're a little bit annoying because you know, it's a shield iris, it's gonna get them, but it's something I just don't like using. If you want to be able to shred a shield, I suggest having a pretty decent team with decent gear sets like have a Fire Crest, a Tactician healer, or a Claimer healer, or someone with a high pulse, and someone with high damage where you guys can hit them with crits and get beside them. The more you shoot the shield, the more they're going to have their team procs. They're going to get their team up higher and higher and higher, and give them more buffs. So if you want a team build, this is perfect to give your team buffs, or you could use something like Final Measure, and that gives your team buffs as well. I know there are builds like Final Measure, Lone Star, and Deadeye, but personally I think these are a few builds that I think are the most used, or slash I could say best in 1.8.3. You guys could agree or disagree with me, but these are my views on them. This is just what I think. This build is, or this video is mostly informational. As always, if you guys liked and enjoyed, please hit the subscribe button for more Division content. As always, I will catch you guys in the next one. I hope you enjoyed.